lately and thought, man, I need to fix this. Or maybe you want to be noticed at the top of the search engines. And social media, you may not even know how to get started. The Talk of Delmarva is here to help you with all of them. And in today's business world, they all matter.
The Talk of Delmarva is the one to count on. For over 40 years, the people of Delmarva have counted on us for news, information, community, and weather. We are also the ones to count on to take your business to the next level. Your total marketing partner and the ones with the ideas. You think it for your business, we can make it happen. We are your one marketing source. Effective ad campaigns, brand formation, digital, website, social media, OTT, and CTV. If you've heard about it, we know how to do it for you. Get in touch with us, thetalkofdelmarva.com.
The Cape Henlopen Elks Lodge 2540 will hold the Elks Golf Outing for Veterans on Wednesday, October 2nd at the Rookery Golf Club in Milton. This golf outing is open to the public and proceeds will go to veterans organizations throughout Sussex County. Check-in begins at 8 a.m. with a shotgun start at 9 a.m. sharp. It's four-person teams with a scramble format. The deadline to register is September 25th. For information to register or become a sponsor, go to the community calendar under the Extras tab at thetalkofdelmarva.com.
This is Julianne Murray, chairman of the Delaware Republican Party. Did you know that the DEGOP has an app? I need you to download it today by going to the App Store or Play Store and searching Delaware Republican Party. This app is going to be key to our Get Out the Vote efforts for the general election. Please download the app today so you can help us deliver victories to Republican candidates in November. Again, go to the App Store or the Play Store on your phone and search Delaware Republican Party. Thanks.
The Worcester County Chamber of Commerce in Ocean Pines invites Eastern Shore Middle School students to test their civics knowledge and compete for the national title in the 2025 National Civics Bee. Students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades from public, private, charter, and homeschool are invited to take part in the first-round civics essay competition. The Worcester County Chamber of Commerce in Ocean Pines will host the local competition in the spring of 2025. The application to enter opens this fall. For more information, go to the community calendar under the Extras tab at thetalkofdelmarva.com. How do you see Delmarva? Busy boardwalk, a day at the beach, or riding on a trail? Send your shots of Delmarva to the Talk of Delmarva's Picture of the Day. Tell us your name, where you're from, and where on Delmarva the picture was taken, and send it to media@wgmd.com.
Here's a look at your Delmarva forecast. High temperatures reach up to 80 and foggy early today under overcast skies with a chance of thunderstorms. Southwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance of rain showers tonight. Lows dip down to about 54. Clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 72. Tomorrow, bright sunshine. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Talk of Delmarva Weather Center along the coast. Right now, 73.
It's Max Power taking your live calls across Delmarva at 302-945-9292, 1-800-518-9292. Here on 92.7 WGMD, the Talk of Delmarva.
Panic on the streets of London, panic on the streets of Birmingham. I wonder to myself, could life ever be sane again? The neat side streets that you slip down. I wonder to myself, hopes may rise and the grass may grow, but honey pie, you're not safe here, so you run.
Good morning, Delmarva. My name is Max Power. Almost good afternoon. Not quite yet, though. That's the Smiths. Panic. I'm off the World Won't Listen album. Anyway, been a great calls, and I have a very special guest, and she looks so lovely and patriotic today. It's the American Woman. American Woman!
Hey, there you go.
We're going to make this quick for her so she can get over to the other side of the house here.
And apparently you've been very busy today, which I'm delighted to hear.
We were talking nature nurture when it comes to that kid that just shot up the school. Because supposedly his mom is like I didn't read that part, but supposedly she's a drug addict and all this stuff, and moves around a lot and stuff. But I didn't.
Yeah, I had read about the dad because they criminally charged the dad.
Yeah, because he bought him a gun. So.
Oops.
But that's what we were talking about, nature nurture, and a lot of people have said, the mother's a piece of and I'm just like, well, that doesn't give him an excuse to go shoot up a high school.
It does not.
You know, a lot of people have crappy parents.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I am not one of them.
Thankfully.
And I did not shoot up my high school.
Yeah, and I do not have crappy parents either.
Yes.
So. But yeah, when I was driving, for those who know, I obviously I call in just to keep things in case Max just wants to catch up. And when I called today, he said, the phones are very busy. I don't need you, which is good.
I didn't mean to say I don't need you. I always need you.
Oh, no.
No, you're a lovely person.
Thank you.
Did you listen to the bash?
All right, so here's a funny story about that.
Here we go.
I heard part of the bash because you were on 98.5, right?
Yes.
Well, so on the app is only 92.7, so I had to actually you have to go to the website and do the stream that way. Well, yeah, I didn't catch that at first. I was like, well, where is it? So I was a little late to the party.
Okay. Did you enjoy it?
What I heard, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. I aims to please, madam.
That's wonderful.
So we can get you going, what are you going to be be today?
I'm going to be answering legal questions on a show called Tipping the Scales of Justice.
No.
I've never heard of such a thing. It's.
And where can you find that? I think it's on IndustryNewsOnline.com.
I'm so proud of you. Yes, it's on IndustryNewsOnline.com. You can check out my patriotic shirt. There is actually today at Hank McCann's house in Milford. We're doing a fundraiser for all of our statewide candidates.
Is he related to Tom McCann, the shoe guy?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No.
As soon as you said McCann, it just popped in my head.
I understand.
Tom McCann, and he knows the Hush Puppy and all those boys.
There is a whole lot of people who know what we're talking about. There's also a whole lot who have no idea what we're talking about.
Them are just kids that don't know what we're talking about.
They are kids. They
Absolutely.
are kids. But
all right, well, I will let you go. Thank you for popping in. And I'll say my goodbyes here when I get a chance, and we'll talk to you in just a
few minutes?
About 10 minutes you'll be on.
All right, take care. Thanks.
What a wonderful lady she is. Patrick, you are a lucky man. There you go. All right. So I will take, actually I'm not going to take any more calls at this moment because there's something I want to do. Like I said, I have a little nostalgic something going on. Remember when times were better in the 80s? We had a really good president. And he always had a joke. So today I'm going to play Ronald Reagan's very last joke. He's a little older at this time, and we know he started getting a little senile in that time. But it's still one heck of a joke. So here we go.
It's a story about a woman who walked into a bridal shop one day and told the sales clerk that she was looking for a wedding gown for her 4th wedding. Well, the saleswoman asked, just exactly what type of dress are you looking for? A long, flowing white dress with a veil, she responded with assurance. Not totally convinced, but afraid to offend the woman, the saleslady said, you know, dresses of that nature are usually more appropriate for brides who are being married for the first time, for those a bit more innocent, if you know what I mean. Well, the lady retorted and put her hand on her hip. I do know what you mean, and I can assure you I'm as innocent as the rest of them. Despite all my marriages, I remain as innocent as any first-time bride. Well, you see, my first husband was a dear, sweet man. It was a terrible tragedy, actually. All the excitement of the wedding was simply too much for him, and he died as we checked into the hotel on our wedding night. I'm sorry to hear that, said the clerk, but what about the others? Well, my second husband and I got into a terrible fight in the limousine on the way to our wedding reception. We haven't spoken since and got the marriage quickly annulled. What about your third husband, asked the store clerk. Well, the woman replied, he was a Democrat. And every night, for 4 years, he just sat on the edge of the bed and told me how good it was going to be.
And there you have it. Ronald Reagan. You know, I have like a 7-minute clip of some of his best stuff. I'll play one every once in a while. It's always good. His speeches and his, you know, just his speeches and his jokes are just so well done. It's probably because he was an actor, unlike Joe Biden, who's not an actor. He's just a liar. But anyway, thank you all for listening to me. Thank you for listening to the flea market, all of you. We had a pretty good day at the flea market. Well, thank you for listening to the Bash last week. So coming up next, in about 6.5 minutes, will be Julianne Murray. As you just heard, she'll be on IndustryNewsOnline.com, where you can type in questions to her, or you can just listen to her on the radio here on both stations. Thank you again. This is Max Power. I will be back next week. Hopefully we can have a good conversation like we did this week. I like that when more people call. You know? I like it, man. This is WGMD 92.7, WUSX 98.5. We are the talk of Delmarva.
Bombadita, 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 until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
92.7 WGMD Rehoboth Beach and 98.5 WUSX Seaford, the talk of Delmarva.
Preparing for the showdown, I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Vice President Harris preparing for Tuesday night's debate. Fox's Alexis McAdams reports from Pittsburgh.
The VP has not participated in a debate, in 4 years. And, hey, she's barely done any interviews with the media since she announced her candidacy. Tuesday's debate could be the only showdown now before the presidential election. If you can believe it, we're like 2 months out now from people hitting the polls there for the election. She's going to face off against Trump in that debate, who talks to the media all the time. He had that press conference talking all the time and having these rallies. But Vice President Kamala Harris says that it's time to go in a different direction and says that this is going to be very important.
Former President Trump headed to Wisconsin for a rally today.
It's a Trump rally. It's a key to his 2016 victory, puncturing the Democrats' blue wall of the upper Midwest states. Wisconsin's one of them. Former president's been hitting crime and the economy lately. He spoke to the North Carolina Fraternal Order of Police and the New York Economics Club, where he pushed tax cuts, tariffs, and he wants to create a government efficiency commission led by Elon Musk. Democrats say Trump wants to slash taxes for the rich while they focus on the middle class.
Fox's Rich Edson. More charges are likely against the teenage suspect in Wednesday's deadly school shooting in Georgia.
14-year-old alleged Georgia high school gunman Colt Gray is charged with 4 murders and is expected to face further accusations related to people injured during Wednesday's school shooting. His father, Colin Gray, is now charged with providing the gun, but also with deaths.
Cruelty to children, the second degree that causes a death, that is second-degree murder.
Prosecutor Brad Smith in Winder, Georgia, near Athens. A grand jury is expected to convene and indict on October 17th. Eben Brown, Fox News.
America is listening to Fox News.
Another update from your local news source, 92.7 and 98.5 WGMD, the talk of Delmarva.
It's Election Day in Bethany Beach. I'm Mary Lou in the newsroom for the Talk of Delmarva. Voters will elect 4 people to the town council from a field of 5 candidates. At least 2 who are elected must be residents. The polls are open till 6 p.m. at the town meeting room on Garfield Parkway in Bethany. An Easton man has been arrested on child pornography charges. Detectives arrested 21-year-old Darian Braun on Thursday and charged him with 17 counts of distribution of child pornography, 17 counts of possession of child pornography, and 2 counts of possession of obscene material with the intent to distribute. Detectives received a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in June about an individual in possession of child porn. The investigation identified Braun, and investigators executed a search and seizure warrant at a residence and a vehicle where they recovered numerous electronics. Braun is being held at the Talbot County Department of Corrections. Well, after holding steady over the holiday weekend, gas prices are again on the decline. The national average for a gallon of gas dropped 6 cents in the past week to $3.29. In Delaware, the price at the pump was down 2 cents at $3.14. Officials at AAA Mid-Atlantic say low gas demand and the plunging cost of oil are key contributors to the fall in gas prices. Also, the switch to the winter blend of gasoline in a few weeks will likely continue the trend of falling gas prices. And this weekend is the 46th annual Nanticoke Indian Powwow. Gates open at 10 o'clock both today and Sunday, and the grand entry is at noon. There's also a non-denominational church service Sunday morning beginning at 8:30. There's plenty of traditional music and dance, Native American crafts and food, and also the Southern Delaware Hot Rod Car Show.
WGMD AccuWeather.
Watch for unusually rough surf and rip currents if you head to the beach today, though it'll be mostly cloudy and humid. Becoming breezy this afternoon with a couple of showers or a thunderstorm into the early evening hours. Otherwise, clearing in the overnight. The low 53 to 60. Sunday, mostly sunny and pleasant, less humid with high of 72. Monday, plenty of sunshine and pleasant with a high 74. I'm Mary Lou for 92.7 and 98.5, the Talk of Delmarva.
Reverse mortgage facts. Turn your home's value into cash. Proceeds are tax-free. Never have to make a monthly mortgage payment. Retain ownership of your home. Use reverse mortgage to pay off current mortgages and pay for other financial expenses. Still leave the home to your heirs, and you must be at least 62 years of age. Call Jim Fritz of All American Mortgage, serving Delaware and Maryland. To find out more, receive a personalized proposal. Call Jim 302-245-2327.
Hollywood 360 with Carl Amari.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carl Amari, and this is Hollywood 360, the radio show that presents all things entertainment, including trivia contests and games, movie reviews, celebrity interviews, showbiz news, and classic radio shows.
Join host Carl Amari's Hollywood 360, 8 to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 10 p.m. on 92.7 and 98.5, the Talk of Delmarva.
Good afternoon, Delmarva. This is Tipping the Scales of Justice with Julianne Murray. I am live in studio. For those of you that aren't familiar with Tipping the Scales of Justice, this is a weekly show on Saturdays between 12 and 2 that is hosted by yours truly. I am a Delaware attorney that gives up a couple of hours to take your legal questions. This is your opportunity to get the answer to that legal question that has been on your mind. Don't be shy. If you have a question, I promise I won't bite. I can almost guarantee that if you have a question, somebody else has that same question, so you're helping yourself and somebody else by calling in. The number's 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292. You can also watch me live online at industrynewsonline.com, and you can submit questions electronically on that site. Again, that's industrynewsonline.com. For you regulars out there, you know that after I give out those phone numbers, we share something that is called disclaimers. These disclaimers are in everybody's best interest so that there's no confusion about how we do things here on this show. Here we go.
If you ask your question to Tipping the Scales of Justice, you are not establishing an attorney-client relationship. This show is designed to be a public service where general legal questions can be answered. You may be asked specific questions so that the attorneys can better answer your question, but that does not mean they have become your attorney. Please be mindful that we are trying to get as many callers as possible, so please limit yourself to one question per call. If the attorneys don't know an answer, they aren't going to fake their way through it. The attorneys are going to tell you if they are unsure, and they are going to find the answer. As professionals, they have reference materials available, but might have to find the answers off air and then provide the information later in the show. If you hear us say that we should talk off the air, take the hint that there is something either too specific or too juicy to tie up the airwaves. They will get your contact information off air and follow up at a later date.
All right, let's get rolling with those questions. Phone numbers again, 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292. You can go to Industry News Online and submit electronic questions. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Julian. It's Joan.
Hey, how are you, Joan?
I'm okay. Hanging in there. Hope you are too, and Patrick and everybody. Anyway, real quick. Okay. Being that Hunter had trial in California, and you know that venue was probably in his favor, and Donald Trump had his venue in New York, in the Southern District, what are the chances of them both being incarcerated, maybe for how long? Do you think that'll ever happen for Hunter?
No. And actually, in California, I don't know that was that favorable a jurisdiction. I mean, certainly the judge has been really good in California,
Good. Okay.
the federal judge. So much so that when Hunter wanted to do what's called an Alford plea, which is basically a no contest plea, it says, I'm not admitting guilt, but I will say that if the evidence that is presented were presented to a jury, I could see where a jury could find me guilty. They wouldn't let him do that. The DOJ was opposed to it, and so was the court. But when I heard that he was pleading, I mean, the reason that trial didn't happen was because it was going to make the gun trial look like nothing in terms of the dirt that was going to come out, and the dirt was going to spill beyond Hunter's junk of lifestyle and all of the different stuff that he has done. So. I think that there was pressure brought, I don't know whether it was from Joe, from Han, I don't know who it was from, but there was pressure brought that said, we need you to make this go away. And the fact that Joe Biden said, I'm not going to pardon my son, I don't believe it for a second. He is a lame duck president. Post-election, he will, he has 2 months to pardon and do whatever he wants to. So I think that pardon is almost all but guaranteed. And that is also true for the gun case. So he's going to be sentenced in the gun case in November and sentenced in the tax case in December. If the judge in Delaware were to sentence him to jail in November, pardon's happening right away. I don't think he spends a day in jail. As for Trump, a little bit more complicated. I was glad that they moved the sentencing to after the election. The fact that the Judge Merchan said that he was doing it so that there was no appearance of impropriety trying to affect an election. He hadn't been worried about that at any point. So I think that had to do with the fact that if they sentenced Trump, his popularity goes up every time they do something. And so they didn't want to ratchet anything in his column. If he, God forbid, is not elected in November and his sentencing is in November, I think Merchan sentences him to jail. And I think that now they'll immediately appeal it. I think that he will be allowed to not be incarcerated while the appeal is pending, because from a protection there's so many logistical issues with Trump going to jail. But it is unfortunately very politically based, and it's not. He shouldn't get jail. He's almost 80 years old with no criminal history, not to mention the flaws in the case themselves, but that appeal takes time.
Oh, well, thank you, Jillian, for, once again, explaining things. We're us out here, sometimes we wonder, what's going on. But anyway, thank you. God bless you all out there, and God bless America and Donald Trump, and hope for the best. You take care, okay?
All right, thanks, Joan. Have a great day.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, Juliet. My name is Nora, and I'm calling from Milton.
Hi, Nora. How are you today? How can I help you?
I'm good, thank you. I have a former client. I'm a real estate broker that reached out to me yesterday. He's actually moved out of state but has retained the property in Delaware.
Okay.
And he received notice that the property is going to sheriff's sale on October the 12th for non-payment of HOA dues. I received a phone call late yesterday afternoon from the former client asking for help. What do I do? What are the first steps that we should do? And this is there's an awful lot of equity in the property, and it's $4,000 of HOA past dues.
Okay, so in terms of, is the HOA managed by a property management company, or is
Yes, it is. And
Okay.
I did reach out to them, and they said once it gets to this point, they cannot talk to anybody.
But they should be able to tell you who you can talk to. So a lawyer is in the mix at this point. If if they are moving toward sheriff's sale, because in order to go there, that's the HOA or the property management company has hired an attorney. I'm surprised that there has not been, and maybe there was, and it just didn't get to your client, like they sent it to the residents and he doesn't live in state anymore. There should have been some written.
And the property is actually rented to Julianne to make it even more complicated. So the renters, of course, are very, concerned.
Sure. There should have been written notice somewhere along the way. The renters, unfortunately, sometimes renters don't understand, the significance of this kind of mail. One would hope that they would have said something, but what I would do at this point is go back to the property management company and see if you can find out who the attorney is. If that doesn't happen, or if you can't get an answer there, then I would contact the sheriff's office and find out who, see what documentation they have and find out. But contact the attorney, because the attorney has the control to put a stay on that sheriff's sale. But they're not going to do that unless they're going to get a guarantee of that there's going to be movement on these dues.
And Julianne, does the payment have, in order for the attorney to put a stay on it, does the payment have to be made in full, or can they work out a payment plan, or what is?
It depends.
I don't know.
So there's, the attorney has the discretion to do that for sure. But with dues in that amount, and I don't know whether that is a whole bunch of not paying monthly dues or whether there's a special assessment in there. But when you get to thousands of dollars of dues, and the fact that the HOA has gone this far to push for a sale over a non-payment of dues, although it's under $5,000, so that seems pretty dramatic to me. Generally the attorney is going to take the position that there was ample opportunity for this to not get to this place. Now, again, don't know where those notices went. Don't know if your client knew about it. If there is a legit, I'm going to use the word excuse here, that client really did not know, renters weren't forwarding it on, like there's all sorts of things here, he wants to make it right, the attorney may work with him about that. The other thing,
I think it was a case, though, that he stuck his head in the sand. It was probably, he's gone through a lot. They've had a COVID death within their family.
Sure.
And I think when people get to that point, they just stick their head in the sand.
Yeah, but clearly, in a property that has equity in it, you do not want something to go to sale over $5,000. So, so hopefully, and I know that it feels very imminent with October 12th, but believe it or not, you've got time to work with here. Having a month is plenty of time to try and work this out, and get a resolution that does not get this sold. The other thing that's a bummer is that not at this point, if an attorney is involved, which again I suspect is, the HOA dues number is not just the dues, it's also the attorney fees, and there's not going to be a way to get around that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Julianne, for pointing me in the right direction. I appreciate your help.
All right, no problem. Nora, have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too.
All right. You are listening to 92.7 and 98.5, and that is The Talk of Delmarva.
I'm Tom Holmes, 1776 Steakhouse in Rehoboth Beach. The restaurant's been here since 1987. I've had it since 2007. I get probably 2-3 customers a night that will come in and say, I heard you on the radio and it sounded great and we're so happy that you're advertising locally with local businesses. I used to do very limited advertising, just a little bit on newspapers and billboards and stuff like that, but now I'm pretty much exclusively just with the radio station. I advertise on Rehoboth Foodie Bob's show, and I also advertise different segments and different times during the course of the week. I've been pretty much with the same schedule for maybe about 10 years. I'm just happy I am advertising with them. They've been very loyal to us, and the feedback I get from my customers about the radio station is tremendous.
I'm Keith Pettit, an assistant manager here at Southern States Milford Cooperative in Milford, Delaware. My experience with WGMD radio station, Talk of Delmarva, has been outstanding. We do our once monthly radio show here in our showroom, and we instantly see results of people coming in that day and the following day and the weeks after saying, I heard about this on WGMD, the Talk of Delmarva. And not just at a close local level within a few miles, but it brings customers in from a fair distance to come and check out the products that we've talked about through the radio station advertising. But in my estimation, WGMD is the best talk radio station on Delmarva. People are in tune to hanging on every word that that station says, and that transfers to the advertisers. The people that listen to WGMD listen to our advertisements word for word, and they know what they're looking for when they come in here as a result. I just think they're phenomenal. They do a great job.
My name is Karen. My husband and I own Captain's Pizza. We have been here for over 6 years, going on 7. We only advertise with WGMD, and we love it. They really help us with anything that we need. They always have good suggestions. They help me with the commercials. Advertising has helped our business tremendously. We do get a lot of people that come in and want to know who is talking on the radio, and I'm always here, so I'm always happy to say that it's me. We participate with Delmarva Dollars. A lot of customers bring them in. We have customers that ask when they're going to have them again if they don't hear it on the radio. We tried advertising in the newspaper and things like that, but we see more of a showing with the Delmarva Dollars. And the customers, they ask me, where else do we advertise? And I tell them, we only advertise with WGMD. We've been very successful with them. We get exactly what we ask for, and it's well worth the money that we invest in it.
Since 1980, WGMD Radio has been your local hometown station with everything from music to news to sports. We know a thing or two about community and longevity. The Talk of Delmarva is proud to be partnered with the White Marlin Open and congratulates them on 50 years.
Welcome back to Tipping the Scales of Justice. Julianne Murray live in studio. Phone numbers 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292, or you can go online to industrynewsonline.com and submit questions electronically. I'm going to do an electronic question, but before I do that, for those who heard me on with Max, and I said that I was in the app last weekend to listen to his bash and thought it was only for 92.7. You can actually go into the menu and choose other stations. So learn something new every day. Who knew? You should see the signal that I'm getting at the moment. It's kind of funny. But yes, go on the app and you can do either 98.5 or 92.7. All right, let's do a digital question here. From Wallace in Salisbury. Can a candidate be forced to present details of their platform publicly? Nope. And let's see. Yeah, if you happen to be Kamala Harris and have the media in the bag, that no one will force you. I mean, so basically, the only power that we have with a candidate is the power of the vote. And if a candidate will not give their platform publicly, then they may not earn the votes that they need. But there is no requirement, and some candidates will actually avoid being locked down on what their platform is at all costs. So be persistent, try and get them locked down. I mean, I personally believe, particularly having been one. It's important to speak to what your values are and what matters to you and what your platform is going to be. But there are people that will not do that and hope that they just, either because of their party or whatever, that they will just get elected. So, nope, can't make them do it. All right, and then I have a digital question from Patty in Millsboro that says, I have forwarded evidence to the Delaware DOJ regarding a ruling in family court that was unjust. The evidence is clear, and I am struggling getting justice. At what point should I go to the federal level of the DOJ when Delaware is not assisting me in a timely manner? This unjust ruling has affected more than myself. It affected my family, friends, and community. Currently, LGBTQ is the number one for DV/IPV, and I am currently a victim-turned-advocate warrior. I need to understand what constitutes perjury in the state of Delaware, and why won't the Delaware DOJ assist me in justice? Okay, Patty, couple of different things in here. The first is that you say that you have forwarded evidence to the Delaware DOJ regarding a ruling in family court that was unjust. That's not the right path. If there is a family court ruling that was unjust, it has to be appealed to the Delaware Supreme Court. The Delaware DOJ does not have, I'm going to use the word jurisdiction, over the family court. Only a higher court has the jurisdiction to do that. So if there was an unjust ruling in family court, and it depends on whether it was a commissioner ruling or a judge ruling. If it was a commissioner ruling, there is a review of commissioner's order, ROCO, that has to be filed. If it is a judge's ruling, then it has to be appealed to the Delaware Supreme Court. It doesn't, and I'm not being smart when I say it doesn't matter what the evidence is. The DOJ isn't the right venue for trying to deal with an unjust ruling out of family court. And frankly, I don't know how. It depends on what the underlying issue is of whether or how you could get to a federal level, because family court is state court, so it's going to stay in that state system. Unless at the appellate level there is a U.S. constitutional issue, then you can kind of hop over to the federal circuit. In terms of what perjury is, it's lying under oath. It does require that somebody be under oath. They don't have to be in a courtroom. It can be in a deposition or something like that, but it is lying under oath. So, I wish you luck, but if you've not gotten an answer from the DOJ, I'm not surprised on that, because I think that it's got to go through the appellate process first. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, you are on the air. What's your name?
Kim?
How can I help you?
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I have a political question for you.
You can try it.
Well, foremost, you are so awesome in this little state of Delaware, and I watch you on Newsmax all the time. You're fabulous.
Thank
you for being so forthright and honest. We get tickets to go to the inauguration.
Your phone broke up there. You said, how do you get tickets to go to the inauguration? Is that what you said?
Yes. How
Don't
will
know.
I be there to see Donald Trump become president? What's the best way? Who do I reach out to?
Okay, so post-election, so in November, they will start doing preparations. There will be basically a committee that is put together for an inaugural committee. Basically, there will be an online access to it, and I would be shocked if there is not the ability to request tickets in that online forum. It may also be, and I'm not certain about this, that the actual parade that happens in DC, I don't know that you have to have tickets for. You could just go to DC and be there when he's walking after he's actually sworn in. Typically, the tickets that you're talking about would be to be much closer in, like at the Capitol, or some of the balls and stuff that are after the inauguration that night. But there will be information coming out after the election with how people can get there, for sure.
Okay, because we did attend the 2016 inauguration. So I was just wondering how we're doing it, as the rules have all changed.
How did you...
On a daily basis.
Right. Did you get tickets in 2016, and how did you get them?
Yes, I did. I submitted, I went on a Board's house, and actually this is so ironic. I live in Delaware, but have been able to procure tickets through Andy Harris, who is the Maryland,
Yep.
in the Maryland house.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So
he is.
That's how I was able to. I was not able to get those through our Delaware
Gotcha.
Representative. So
Are we surprised? I mean, come on, really?
yeah, we're surprised. But okay, well, thank you very much. I'll look after November. And again, please keep up the good work. You are so awesome.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Bye now.
All right, take care. Let's go back to those phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Jim from Ocean View.
Hey, Jim, how can I help you?
I had this is kind of a follow-up. I was listening to Rich Collins on this radio station the other day, and he made a point that people that got their driver's license renewed were asked if they wanted to register to vote at the DMV. My question to his point was that there was no proof of citizenship required to register to vote at that point at DMV. Is there anywhere in the lineup once there's research done with the driver's license voter application? Is there any place where they check to see if they're illegal?
Yes. Yes.
Citizen of the United States, whether they're here illegally or even if they're not here, if they are here legally or illegally, they should not be allowed to vote.
Okay. I can answer that. I'll answer it when we come back, but I got a hard break at the moment. You're listening to 92.7, 98.5, and that is the talk of Delmarva.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Hutton from Rehoboth Beach Running Company. We've been in this location for about 8 years, and we've been in business for about 16 years. We're pretty much busy every day, all year round now. Since we've been advertising with the Talk of Delmarva, everywhere we go, people seem to know about us. I like working with other small businesses. We work with a lot of small businesses, and advertising is no different. And we like for people to come in and actually see our store. Yeah. So when people from the Talk of Delmarva have seen our store, they understand it better. Some of their other customers shop at our store, and it's really a small town kind of life. And people shop local, advertise local, listen to the local radio. It all kind of comes full circle. So how has the marketing department helped us? Well, I love that Laura's she's always looking ahead at the calendar, because as a small business person, I'm very busy and I'm kind of thinking of last minute things. And so Laura's always ready for the sidewalk sale. She knows it's a big deal for us. And so you want to get the word out a little bit early. And the sidewalk sale this year was better than ever. And I think it's in great part to Laura's planning and the commercials, so people know that the whole town is having a sidewalk sale and that we have big sales at that time of year. I didn't really know what to expect in the beginning, because I didn't know whether she'd know our business. I don't know if she would know runners and but she listens very carefully, and she researches, and she really tries to gear our ads towards our business, and she does an excellent job. I think people really more now than ever want to shop local. I think people want to support local businesses and help the community. And so when people know that we are a small business that meets their needs, they'd rather shop here than go online or some other way. So I think people really want to help themselves and help the community. We have attracted our ideal customer at the Talk of Delmarva. We service people from, 12 years old or even younger to 95-year-olds. So yeah, I think our ads are doing a great job of bringing customers to us. The Talk of Delmarva advertising has helped with our marathon also. So I organized the Rehoboth Marathon and Half Marathon in December, and we sell out earlier and earlier every year. And I think that's due in part to advertising with the Talk of Delmarva. You know, the people know that we have a running store and that we also have this big race at a great time of year, and people sign up earlier and earlier every year. I really do believe that the return on investment is huge. I think we definitely got return on our investment quickly. Every dollar spent was well worth it. I would highly recommend for other businesses to advertise on the Talk of Delmarva. It's been a great experience for us. It's been very worthwhile, and I would highly recommend it to other businesses.
I'm Tom Holmes, 1776 Steakhouse in Rehoboth Beach. The restaurant's been here since 1987. I've had it since 2007. I get probably 2-3 customers a night that will come in and say, I heard you on the radio and it sounded great and we're so happy that you're advertising locally with local businesses. I used to do very limited advertising, just a little bit on newspapers and billboards and stuff like that, but now I'm pretty much exclusively just with the radio station. I advertise on Rehoboth Foodie Bob's show, and I also advertise different segments and different times during the course of the week. I've been pretty much with the same schedule for maybe about 10 years. I'm just happy I am advertising with them. They've been very loyal to us, and the feedback I get from my customers about the radio station is tremendous.
WGMD, thetalkofdelmarva.com, and the WGMD app. And remember, fish on.
Here's a look at your Delmarva forecast. Cloudy skies this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. Highs level off around 80, westerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance of rain showers tonight. Lows dip down to about 54. Highs level off around 72 tomorrow. Sunny skies. Lots of sunshine and dry Monday and Tuesday. Upper 70s Monday, mid 80s by Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Talk of Delmarva Weather Center, inland. Currently 75.
Welcome back to Tipping the Scales of Justice. Julianne Murray live in studio. Phone numbers 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292. You can go online to industrynewsonline.com and submit questions electronically. I want to finish answering the question that Jim asked at the bottom of the hour, which was about the AVR, automatic voter registration, that happens at the DMV, and whether there is any verification that is conducted. There is. I actually wrote to Anthony Albans about this several months ago because I wanted the process to be spelled out. The DMV does not do that verification. So the person that is wanting to register to vote opts in, and at that point, it is then forwarded to the Department of Elections, where a search is done of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Systematic Alien Verification System. There's a check there to see if there is U.S. citizenship. Okay, and then after that, it is also there checked for eligibility in terms of the DELJUS, the Criminal Justice Information System, to ensure that the applicant has not been convicted of a disqualifying felony. Once all of that happens, there is a notification that is sent to the person who registered. It's an AVR registration is determined to be eligible. Then the code-mandated AVR mailing is sent to the newly registered voter, and the mailer informs the voter that they've been registered via the AVR process, provides an opportunity for the voter to choose a party affiliation if they wish, to make any correction to their record, or indicate they wish to cancel their registration. So, long answer, but basically it's not the DMV that is doing any kind of verification. They're just taking the yes or no, I want to be registered, and forwarding it to the Department of Elections, who is then doing it. So that's the answer, Jim. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? I had somebody. I can't tell whether I have somebody. Okay, I do. Are you there, caller?
Yes.
Okay, you are on the air. What's your name?
My name's Brian.
How can I help you, Brian?
Kind of twofold, two separate topics. I go online. I'm in District 41, and I go online to try to find out who my candidates are, and I'm having a total issue. Like, I can't find who they are.
Okay. Have you gone to sussex.gop?
No, but I will. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is sussex.gop is the website for the Sussex region, and they have a great layout there of all of the candidates.
Good. I will do that. Thank you. My second thing is totally off base from the topic. I live across the street from the bypass that's going in, and I've lost power several times with this. They basically dug up the power cord, and it destroyed my microwave.
Oof.
Is there any liability to go after them for that?
Maybe. It's, the question is to whom that liability. I mean, so it depends on whether it was a contractor that was doing it, whether it was a state agency who was doing the digging, basically.
It was a contractor.
Okay, so you can certainly contact the contractor and say, that your microwave got fried, just to see. I mean, and they may be accommodating about it. They may also basically say, "So what?" I mean, truly, because to them it's just, it doesn't matter. I don't know that, but I think what I would do in that case is, I would try the contractor and say, and then I would also try the power company, whether it's Delaware Electric Co-op or Delmarva Power,
It's DP&L.
Pardon me, DP&L. Okay, and see if this is see if you can get any information from them in terms of, is this a common occurrence? What do they suggest? They actually have what are called whole house surge protectors that you could actually install at your house. They may even give it to you because generally what fries our electronics is the spike of the from it going. It's not when it clicks off; it's when it clicks back on. I'm not saying this is a great solution. It's a problem that your power is getting messed with, but trying to kind of work the problem.
It's been off like 7 or 8 times already.
Oh, that stinks. Yeah, I mean, so I would try the contractor, and I would also try the power company and see if they've got any information to for how to best kind of is this the shape of things to come, and see if there's anything.
It really hurts to throw half a bushel of crabs away too, because you don't know if you can keep them or not because the power was off for over 6 hours.
I hear you. No, I hear you. Yeah, no, it's not okay. It's definitely not okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome, Brian. Have a good day. Thank you. Okay, so I don't believe I have another caller on the line. So let's talk a little bit about voting, early voting specifically. You can early vote today and tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day of early voting before the primary on September 10th. Same website that I just gave to Brian, sussex.gop, has all of the Sussex County all of the Sussex County locations for early voting. You can go to any of them. You do not have to go to the one that is closest to your home. 7 to 7. And for those who don't know, there is a primary in the gubernatorial race. There is a primary in the U.S. Congress race. The endorsed candidates from the GOP are Mike Ramone for governor and Danielle Hall for Congress. There are primaries in 2 of the Sussex County Council seats. There's a primary in representative seat, Brian Shoup and Patrick Smith, and Senate seat, Dave Wilson and Bob Reed. So, it is worthwhile to show up and vote for the primary. I also want people to try early voting. It's, I understand the hesitation, but I can tell you that if you go, you're going to find almost no line or no line, that it's incredibly easy. It is just like election day in terms of you're voting on the same machines. You are presenting your ID. You are doing, all of those things that you do on election day. You're in and out, and, those votes are all kept there until the end of the early voting period, and then they will be transmitted to the Department of Elections, but they are not tabulated until the end of the day on Tuesday, which is primary day. But in terms of trying to get people engaged and out to vote, I want you to do it. WGMD has been wonderful about letting a public service announcement that I recorded a couple weeks ago about the app. Delaware GOP has an app. Lots of people have downloaded it. I want more. This app, if you go to the Google Play Store or the App Store and you put Delaware Republican Party, you will find the app. When you download it, I need you to opt in for notifications. The whole reason that we're doing this app is so that we can send push notifications. We sent one this week. If you didn't get it, I need you to go into the app and take a look and allow notifications. We're not going to abuse this, but like we sent out a push notification to go early vote. We're going to be sending out notifications between now and Election Day. And as we get closer to the election, we'll be putting out information about how you can then send text messages to your contacts to kind of broaden our footprint on voting. We have to vote, people. This is it. You have to vote. So phone numbers again, 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292. You can go online to Industry News Online and submit electronic questions. This is 92.7 and 98.5, and that is the talk of Delmarva.
I'm Tom Holmes, 1776 Steakhouse in Rehoboth Beach. The restaurant's been here since 1987. I've had it since 2007. I get probably 2-3 customers a night that will come in and say, I heard you on the radio and it sounded great and we're so happy that you're advertising locally with local businesses. I used to do very limited advertising, just a little bit on newspapers and billboards and stuff like that, but now I'm pretty much exclusively just with the radio station. I advertise on Rehoboth Foodie Bob's show, and I also advertise different segments and different times during the course of the week. I've been pretty much with the same schedule for maybe about 10 years. I'm just happy I am advertising with them. They've been very loyal to us, and the feedback I get from my customers about the radio station is tremendous.
I'm Keith Pettit, an assistant manager here at Southern States Milford Cooperative in Milford, Delaware. My experience with WGMD radio station, Talk with Delmarva, has been outstanding. We do our once monthly radio show here in our showroom, and we instantly see results of people coming in that day and the following day and the weeks after saying, I heard about this on WGMD, the Talk of Delmarva. And not just at a close local level within a few miles, but it brings customers in from a fair distance to come and check out the products that we've talked about through the radio station advertising. But in my estimation, WGMD is the best talk radio station on Delmarva. People are in tune to hanging on every word that that station says, and that transfers to the advertisers. The people that listen to WGMD listen to our advertisements word for word, and they know what they're looking for when they come in here as a result. I just think they're phenomenal. They do a great job.
My name is Karen. My husband and I own Captain's Pizza. We have been here for over 6 years, going on 7. We only advertise with WGMD, and we love it. They really help us with anything that we need. They always have good suggestions. They help me with the commercials. Advertising has helped our business tremendously. We do get a lot of people that come in and want to know who is talking on the radio, and I'm always here, so I'm always happy to say that it's me. We participate with Delmarva Dollars. A lot of customers bring them in. We have customers that ask when they're going to have them again if they don't hear it on the radio. We tried advertising in the newspaper and things like that, but we see more of a showing with the Delmarva Dollars. And the customers, they ask me, where else do we advertise? And I tell them, we only advertise with WGMD. We've been very successful with them. We get exactly what we ask for, and it's well worth the money that we invest in it.
Since 1980, WGMD Radio has been your local hometown station with everything from music to news to sports. We know a thing or two about community and longevity. The Talk of Delmarva is proud to be partnered with the White Marlin Open and congratulates them on 50 years.
Welcome back to Tipping the Scales of Justice. Julianne Murray. I am live in studio. Phone numbers 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292. You can also go online to Industry News Online and submit questions electronically. Tuesday night's a big night, and the station manager just came and spoke to me to let me know that WGMD will be airing the debate starting at 9. From 9 to 11 is going to be super busy here in Delaware between the debate between President Trump and Harris, and then our primary results come in. Polls close at 8, but the primary results will start, cruising in about between 9 and 10:30. So one-stop shopping. If you go to WGMD.com, they are going to have the Mukana interactive show going on where you can be watching the debate and the results and commenting, asking questions. For those who have never done it, it's sort of like Facebook Live. It's better than that because there's a panel and there's just a lot more interaction that goes on. But Tuesday night, WGMD.com, and you can watch this and hear what's going on. I think I have a caller. Maybe not. So while I'm waiting, let's talk for a second about something that people don't understand about deeds. I actually was dealing with this yesterday on something in terms of what the difference is between tenants in common and joint tenants with right of survivorship. The difference is with tenants in common, if you own something with somebody that way, you can then will your share to somebody else. Okay? With joint tenants with right of survivorship, as people die, the shares reset. So if there are 3 people, one dies, so you each own a third, one dies, it resets to halves, and then the last person alive owns 100% of it. It is not passable through your estate. So that's something that people don't quite understand, but I'm happy to explain more. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ray, and I'm calling from Broadkill Beach.
Hello, Ray. How can I help you today?
I have a problem. We have a private water company here, and this is a summer home for us. It was recently taken over by a larger water company, and they made a connection, put in a meter, made a connection, and they told us that we are responsible for the pipe from the meter to our house. There was some other things occurred in the middle, but where they connected to my pipe, there was a leak, a bad leak. And when I called them and had them come in, they took a look at it and they said, well, that's on your side of the property. We have no, we aren't going to help you out with it. And I said to them, well, this was your connection. I said, I had nothing to do with it. And they said, well, there was a 1-year warranty on this, and it was over a year that you were connected to us. Do I have any means that I could go? And I had to hire a private contractor. It cost me about $1,300 to have it done. Do I have any recourse?
I don't know. So this is, because there's a whole bunch of different pieces in here. The fact that it was a private water company and then a larger one comes in. I mean, to me, the fact that the leak happened where they connected, was it the same place that the private water company connected, or was there a new connection put in place?
No, it was a new connection. They cut my pipeline and put a connection there, and that connection that was put in was leaking very badly.
Did it, and the warranty thing, did it leak immediately, or did that leak really start after a year?
I don't know, because like I said, it was a part-time
right.
property. I actually live in Virginia. And the way I found out about it, a neighbor emailed me and said there was a problem with the water line for your neighbor. The water company came here. They fixed the neighbors, but I think yours was leaking, and you need to check. So I called the water company. I think they were near Rehoboth or Milford or Milton. And when I called them, they said, no, your water's fine. It's not disconnected. Matter of fact, you don't have a meter. And then when I came here about a month later, the water was shut off. I contacted the water company. The fellow come out. They said, well, there's nothing wrong with your water. It's just turned off here at the meter. And he said, I'll turn it back on. And when he turned it on, he watched it for a while. And then he said, well, that's leaking on your side. I'm going to need to talk to my boss about it. And he called his boss, and I guess the boss said, well, that's his problem. Let him take care of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you have an argument for sure that,
Okay.
yeah, but what that does for you, I mean, so you can become the squeaky wheel, and yeah, but depending on, and there, I mean, there's so many different details in terms of when the changeover happened to the larger company. Was there any kind of, contract? I mean, there's all sorts of different things that could drive whether there's any liability on their part. But what I would say is, regardless of any of that, there is in general a warranty of, I'm going to call it, I can't think of what the exact word is, but basically they have to install it properly. Yeah, if they're going to do that,
Okay.
and I don't care where it leaked. If it can be tied to that installation, they have to fix that. That's on them. I mean, in terms of suing or trying to get reimbursed from it, you'd have to consult with you don't absolutely have to go to an attorney. You could do this in JP court by yourself, but it's going to come down to kind of contract law. What was contracted for, what was part of that. But of course they're going to say it's your responsibility because they don't want to have to deal with it. But I think that you at least have an argument that says, whoa, this ties into your connection. I don't care. I mean, that's basically saying that, so say that there's a pipe right at the street, okay, and their connection, and it leaks into your yard, but it leaks into your yard. Well, the problem was the connection at the street. That's, you don't get, just because that's where the water happened to flow, doesn't, the leak is still on, their pipe, in my view.
Okay, that sounds good. Because it was at the fitting that they put in, and what I was thinking of doing is I'm going to put all this information together. I took some pictures, and I was going to send a letter to the CEO at their home office and see where it goes from there.
Yep, absolutely agree. That's the good way to go.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
All right, have a great day, Ray. Okay, so let's do a digital question. What is an opinion of counsel letter? It depends. It is many times, for instance, a bank will want an opinion of counsel letter for a power of attorney. They want to know that the document was. I see you, Max. I got you, buddy. They want to know that the power of attorney was executed under Delaware law, and what the availability of it is, like eligibility. When does it start? Is it only upon incapacity, or is it durable? There are also opinion of counsel letters for title opinions in terms of the marketability of title for a piece of property. There's environmental ones. There's all sorts of them. But in this context, because I know who is asking the question, the opinion of counsel letter is basically making sure that a out-of-state bank wants to know that a Delaware power of attorney is valid and who the agent is and when that authority kicks in. You're very welcome, and I'll get on that letter immediately. It was a short week. You should see this. I know people are going, what are you guys talking about? Okay, and then I have a question. My bank account was hacked and I had to change banks. Several of my auto pay accounts were not paid timely and now I'm getting dinged by credit reports. Do I have any recourse? Not really, unfortunately, because trying to figure out who you would go after for that. The bank account being hacked, is it on you? Did you have a simple password? You know, I mean, there's so some of it is whether or not it's your liability, but with the bank that you were using, why you had to change banks, I don't know. So you would have had better luck had you stayed with the same bank, because they would have brought over all of your auto pay stuff, those characteristics, to your new bank account. When you switched over, because you made the choice to switch over, I don't know that you have any recourse in terms of the fact that those auto pays weren't set up right. This is different than a scenario where, for instance, you have a mortgage company or something where you have an auto pay set up and it is sold to a different servicing and there's a 60-day window where they're not allowed to give you any late charges or anything like that. This is different than that because you were actually involved in changing banks. So unfortunately, I don't think you really have any recourse on that. All right, in this last minute, what I was talking about earlier, a little bit about this tenants in common and joint tenants with right of survivorship. There's a third ownership that is called tenants by the entirety, and that is for married couples. It is the best way to own property because there are no shares. You are treated, even though there's two people, it's treated as one share. It's not penetrable for creditors of either of the people. So in terms of protection, when you start talking about owning property, tenants by the entirety is married, joint tenants with right of survivorship, each have equal shares, equal rights to use, one document, everybody has to sign a new deed. It's also protected. Tenants in common can be unequal shares, can be willed to somebody else. Somebody can sell their share without checking with the other owners. Imagine that. And creditors can attach to a share of a tenants in common. So the biggest problem is that deeds, if you do not say how it is owned, it defaults to tenants in common. So if it just has names and doesn't say how it's owned, that's a problem because it says tenants in common. So I want to make sure that, sometimes with homework, I have you check your deed to see if it says that. So you are listening to 92.7 and 98.5, and that is the talk of Delmarva.
All day, every day, with news, talk, and sports. Over 40 years strong. 92.7 WGMD, Rehoboth Beach, Ocean City.
Before he debates, he'll rally. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. Former President Trump will be in Wisconsin later on.
It's a Trump rally. It's a key to his 2016 victory, puncturing the Democrats' blue wall of the upper Midwest states. Wisconsin's one of them. Former president's been hitting crime and the economy lately. He spoke to the North Carolina Fraternal Order of Police and the New York Economics Club, where he pushed tax cuts, tariffs, and he wants to create a government efficiency commission led by Elon Musk. Democrats say Trump wants to slash taxes for the rich while they focus on the middle class.
That's Fox's Rich Edson. Vice President Harris is in Pittsburgh preparing for Tuesday's debate.
The VP has not participated in a debate, in 4 years. And, hey, she's barely done any interviews with the media since she announced her candidacy. Tuesday's debate could be the only showdown now before the presidential election. If you can believe it, we're like 2 months out now from people hitting the polls there for the election. She's going to face off against Trump in that debate, who talks to the media all the time. He had that press conference talking all the time and having these rallies. But Vice President Kamala Harris says that it's time to go in a different direction and says that this is going to be very important.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. The suspected Georgia school shooter could face more charges.
14-year-old alleged Georgia high school gunman Colt Gray is charged with 4 murders and is expected to face further accusations related to people injured during Wednesday's school shooting. His father, Colin Gray, is now charged with providing the gun, but also with deaths.
Cruelty to children, the second degree that causes a death, that is second-degree murder.
Prosecutor Brad Smith in Winder, Georgia, near Athens. A grand jury is expected to convene and indict on October 17th. Eben Brown, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
Another update from your local news source, 92.7 and 98.5 WGMD, the talk of Delmarva.
Voters in Bethany Beach head to the polls today to elect 4 people to the town council. I'm Mary Lou in the newsroom for the Talk of Delmarva. 3 incumbents face 2 challengers for the 2-year terms. Incumbents Ron Califf, Mickey Hinman, and Rich McHugh are challenged by Russell Evans and Bob Rush. At least 4 of the 7 sitting members of the council must be residents, so at least 2 who are elected today must be residents. The polls are open until 6 p.m. at the town meeting room. You'll find more information at thetalkofdelmarva.com. 2 Dagsboro residents have been arrested by Delaware State Police following a theft investigation. Police investigated several thefts of a similar nature in the Frankfort area where unknown suspects entered a commercial property and stole a skid steer. Worcester County Sheriff's deputies were also investigating thefts in Berlin. The 2 agencies identified 40-year-old Cody Hudson and 45-year-old Tara Higgins as the suspects in the Frankfort and Berlin incidents. Both were arrested on Wednesday after a search warrant was executed at a Swamp Road property in Dagsboro, and one of the stolen skid steers was recovered, as well as property stolen from Maryland. Both face multiple charges in Delaware, and charges from the Worcester County Sheriff's Office are pending. A garage fire in Salisbury damaged 2 vehicles Friday morning. Salisbury firefighters were called to Harford Road just before 9 a.m. for a structure fire and found smoke and fire when they arrived at the scene, with exposures to 2 vehicles, a shed, and a nearby home. Maryland State Fire Marshal investigators determined the fire began in a garage and was accidental, caused by an electrical failure. Officials say a passerby discovered that fire, which was brought under control by firefighters in about 10 minutes. The fire also caused heat damage to the residents and to 2 vehicles. Investigators say damage is estimated at $100,000.
WGMD AccuWeather.
Mostly cloudy and humid, becoming breezy this afternoon with a shower or thunderstorm into the early evening hours. Otherwise clearing in the overnight, the low 53 to 60. For Sunday, mostly sunny, pleasant, less humid with a high of 72. Monday, it'll be sunny and pleasant with a high of 74. I'm Mary Lou for 92.7 and 98.5, the Talk of Delmarva.
Reverse mortgage facts. Turn your home's value into cash. Proceeds are tax-free. Never have to make a monthly mortgage payment. Retain ownership of your home. Use reverse mortgage to pay off the current mortgages and pay for other financial expenses. Still leave the home to your heirs, and you must be at least 62 years of age. Call Jim Fritz of All American Mortgage, serving Delaware and Maryland. To find out more, receive a personalized proposal. Call Jim 302-245-2327.
Delmarva loves the Pet Show with Warren Eckstein.
We're going to go to Teresa in, I guess it's Pocomoke, Maryland. Hey, Teresa, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Lori in beautiful Georgetown, Delaware. Hey, Lori, beautiful Ocean City, Maryland, and Esther. Hi, Esther. Welcome to the Pet Show. Right now, it is Lynn in the great state of Delaware. Welcome to the show, Lynn.
The Pet Show with Warren Eckstein, 4 to 6 Saturdays, here on 92.7 WGMD, the Talk of Delmarva.
Welcome back to Tipping the Scales of Justice. Julianne Murray. We are in our second hour. I am live in studio here to take your legal questions. Phone numbers 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292. You can go online to industrynewsonline.com. Marianne in Frederick, Maryland wrote, for the previous caller about the hacked account, Has he tried consulting or contacting the individual companies? I think they are able to, quote, reverse or explain the ding. Had similar issues when I recently moved. So to the person who submitted the questions about the going to or having creditor dings, that's a thought, is to go to the individual companies. Another question, what is the status of the county reassessment project? It's in process. And what I mean by that is they are working through reassessing all of the properties. I know for us, we got our notice that showed what they were, quote unquote, showing as the property that because they didn't actually come into the house. They make kind of a guess based on the footprint of the house. The new taxes have not kicked in yet, but it is a work in progress and is allowing people the opportunity to ample time to appeal or otherwise be prepared to see what that reassessment is. Okay, it looks like I got a caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Julianne, this is Fred from Georgetown. You did some work for us, me and Ruth Ann. We received the deed yesterday in the mail, and you guys did a great job, you and Pam, man. I'm telling you. We're happy with everything you did.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Fred.
Okay, and we did do an early vote.
You said you did?
We voted for the people that was on our side of the ticket.
Great.
And I did stop at the GOP in Georgetown and picked up some signs. I got signs for, of course, Trump and Valerie and Ruth Briggs King and Ramon, and everybody's on the ticket. So, and they're open from 10 to 2 in Georgetown. So anybody looking for signs, that's where you can get them.
And they actually, it's been at least a year, it might be 2 at this point. When you walk in, somebody built those cubbies there. When you walk, so it's super organized where the signs are. That was such an improvement over how it used to be. So I'm glad that you were able to get there. And early voting, was there any line when you did the early voting?
There was maybe a half a dozen people in there when we went in, and there was people coming in as we were going out. So that was the first day of the voting.
Good. No,
that was last week.
No. Yeah. That's good to hear.
Anyway, thanks for all your help, and you'll be our attorney from here on in.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, Fred. Have a great day. Say hey to Ruth Ann for me. On the early voting, the very first day, statewide, it was about 1,600 Democrats and about 1,100 Republicans on the first day. I understand early voting takes some getting used to. But it really is not the big bad wolf and is incredibly convenient compared to voting on election day. So I absolutely encourage people. I understand that some people are not comfortable with absentee voting by paper. And my response to that is, that's your prerogative. I will say that with the absentee voting, you can actually track when you order the ballot, when you get the ballot, when you send the ballot back. All of those things are trackable, and you can see when it's been received. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Good afternoon, beautiful.
Hello, Dr. Ed. How are you?
Hi there, sweetheart. Good afternoon. Again, we all thank you for all the magnificent work you do for Sussex as well as the state of Delaware.
I appreciate it.
I have 3 PSAs I'd like to mention if possible.
Go for it.
The first is I appreciate WGMB doing the broadcast for the debate. We also are going to host an in-person live debate watch at the Hampton Inn on Tuesday, gathering at 6 for snacks and chats, etc., fun, and then 9 o'clock for the debate. So that's at the Hampton Inn on Route 24 in Rehoboth for Tuesday night. Before you go to your second PSA, you guys did this for the first debate too, correct?
Oh, it was magnificent.
You sent me the pictures. It looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yelling and screaming and rooting and carrying on. And I can tell you with what the activity is for this one, I did have my first Thursday movie night this past Thursday, which was General Michael Flynn. It was fantastic, great crowd, and they've all agreed that they want to turn around and do the debate. So we're going to have a large crowd at the Hampton Inn for Tuesday night.
Great. That's going to be a given, and that's why we want people to come as early as 6 o'clock to gather and have beverages and snacks and meet and carry on, and then prepare to sit down for 9 o'clock.
Perfect.
It will be late. It will be a late night, but people are willing to do it. That's one. And then the next day, which is 9/11, all right, we have a special service, 8 o'clock Mass at St. Jude's for 9/11 victims. Father Brian Lewis taking care of that with us for 8 o'clock Mass St. Jude's Wednesday morning. And then the big event that day is the typical 23 years of the memorial for the Whitford Foundation for Carol and Roger Whitford for their son Mark that was killed in 9/11 as a New York City fireman. And that is, we have a tent for 200 seats, and we're expecting people to bring folding chairs and more. Great. It's a big event, and multiple speakers listed to do that. And it's between 5 and 7 o'clock on Wednesday, 9/11. Okay. Everybody's welcome. That's on Minus Conaway Road, just off of Route 1.
It's a beautiful memorial they have there.
It certainly is, and people and tourists stop all year long to look and sign a register and give them thoughts on that. And then, of course, we've been promoting that with Dan Gaffney each Friday morning, as well as all candidates, and win and lose. The next day we'll be there. It'll be a great networking day, and it'll be a great event for the memorial and the family and the foundation. And it's going to be probably bigger this year than ever. So Great. It's going to be a great event. So all are welcome. It's free, naturally. We're expecting people to come. Bring folding chairs as early as 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because 5 o'clock sharp, we start with the bagpipers.
Okay.
And then it has continuous. Dan Gaffney is the host and MC. And we've got singers and music, and we've got various individuals throughout the state talking. And it's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful day.
All right.
So everybody's welcome.
Wonderful. And all right, so we've got the Hampton Inn on Tuesday night.
The Whitfords would love to have you there. We know how busy you are, but they would love to have you be a visitor and a speaker if you'd like.
Okay, I appreciate that. I don't know that I can commit to it, but I will reach out. I know them, and we'll reach out to them.
We understand. We certainly understand. So I appreciate you allowing me to mention those 3 PSAs, and we appreciate everything that WGMD does.
And I thank you very much for calling in and being appreciative of it.
My best to Patrick.
Will do. All right, take care. See ya.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, see ya. Thank you to Dr. Ed for that. I do know he sends me pictures when people gather, and that they had done the gathering for the first debate. So Tuesday's going to be an interesting night again, because we've got the debate, but we also have consequential stuff happening here in Delaware, because it's our statewide primary, and is going to determine who the gubernatorial candidate is on the Democrat and the Republican side. And for those who don't know, the JCC always does a candidate forum after the primary, for the candidates that are going to be in the general election. This year, in 2020, it was done remotely because of COVID. In 22, it was live. I can tell you, I was there for both of them, in 2020 and 22. It was amazing in 22 because we filled the room. It was a very Republican crowd. I was sitting next to Kathy Jennings, and she was so uncomfortable. It was very cool to be there. So this year they're not doing it live. I don't know whether it's because of what happened in 22, because it didn't go the way that they expected it to, or if it's because of the bad juju. I know that doesn't even begin to touch, around the Jewish community and the protesting and all of the different stuff. But the candidates will be there live. It will be available via Zoom, and people will be able to watch. I'm sure it's going to be streamed, but that is the first debate candidate forum where we have only the candidates that are going on to the general election. That's this coming Thursday, the 12th. So be on the lookout for that. You are listening to 92.7 and 98.5, and that is the Talk of Delmarva.
I'm Tom Holmes, 1776 Steakhouse in Rehoboth Beach. The restaurant's been here since 1987. I've had it since 2007. I get probably 2-3 customers a night that will come in and say, I heard you on the radio and it sounded great and we're so happy that you're advertising locally with local businesses. I used to do very limited advertising, just a little bit on newspapers and billboards and stuff like that, but now I'm pretty much exclusively just with the radio station. I advertise on Rehoboth Foodie Bob's show, and I also advertise different segments and different times during the course of the week. I've been pretty much with the same schedule for maybe about 10 years. I'm just happy I am advertising with them. They've been very loyal to us, and the feedback I get from my customers about the radio station is tremendous.
I'm Keith Pettit, an assistant manager here at Southern States Milford Cooperative in Milford, Delaware. My experience with WGMD radio station, Talk with Delmarva, has been outstanding. We do our once monthly radio show here in our showroom, and we instantly see results of people coming in that day and the following day and the weeks after saying, I heard about this on WGMD, the Talk of Delmarva. And not just at a close local level within a few miles, but it brings customers in from a fair distance to come and check out the products that we've talked about through the radio station advertising. But in my estimation, WGMD is the best talk radio station on Delmarva. People are in tune to hanging on every word that that station says, and that transfers to the advertisers. The people that listen to WGMD listen to our advertisements word for word, and they know what they're looking for when they come in here as a result. I just think they're phenomenal. They do a great job.
My name is Karen. My husband and I own Captain's Pizza. We have been here for over 6 years, going on 7. We only advertise with WGMD, and we love it. They really help us with anything that we need. They always have good suggestions. They help me with the commercials. Advertising has helped our business tremendously. We do get a lot of people that come in and want to know who is talking on the radio, and I'm always here, so I'm always happy to say that it's me. We participate with Delmarva Dollars. A lot of customers bring them in. We have customers that ask when they're going to have them again if they don't hear it on the radio. We tried advertising in the newspaper and things like that, but we see more of a showing with the Delmarva Dollars. And the customers, they ask me, where else do we advertise? And I tell them, we only advertise with WGMD. We've been very successful with them. We get exactly what we ask for, and it's well worth the money that we invest in it.
Since 1980, WGMD Radio has been your local hometown station with everything from music to news to sports. We know a thing or two about community and longevity. The Talk of Delmarva is proud to be partnered with the White Marlin Open and congratulates them on 50 years.
Welcome back to Tipping the Scales of Justice. Julianne Murray. It is 1:19, almost 1:20. Taking your phone calls, your legal questions. We're getting into some politics, but I'm here to do legal questions. I can do whatever we need to. We'll talk about voting. We'll talk about whatever we need to. Phone numbers 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292. You can go online to industrynewsonline.com and submit electronic questions. I've got one here that says, I was notified by the state that I have unclaimed funds. I sent in the paperwork but was denied because my address was a post office box which is no longer in my possession. How can I get the dough? It's a good question, and I mean my best guess, and I'm telling you right now, it's a guess, is to contact the unclaimed funds. I mean, if you don't have that post office box anymore, to find out how you go about doing it. I mean, how are they basing this? Are they basing your ownership on it on the fact that the post office box was owned by you or rented by you? You know, can you somehow prove that you had the PO box at one point? But I would contact. I would contact, sorry, the next question just makes me laugh. I would contact unclaimed funds and see how to go about doing that. So Marianne and Frederick wrote, where can I get a shirt like yours? Okay, so for those who actually watch, I don't have the whole, you can't see the whole shirt, but the bottom part of it is grass with golf clubs. Okay, this actually goes back in time, back to the 90s, believe it or not. And it was the Ryder Cup. And the team wore these shirts, and I just loved it. So it's like a waving American flag. So I've got the field on one side, on one shoulder, the stripes on the other, and then grass and a golf club at the bottom. So if you just go online and you do in a search engine, you do flag shirt with probably with grass or with golf clubs, this shirt will pop up. It's a popular shirt. So, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, a couple other things. As we've been talking, we've been talking about early voting. We've been talking about absentee voting, and that under absentee voting, you can go to ivote.de.gov to request your ballot. You can't do it right now for the primary. I think it's probably the cutoff is technically tomorrow, but I think you would have to go there in order to do this and get it in time. If you do the absentee voting, you can then track what happens with when your ballot is received, when it is scanned. There are many people who also request that ballot and then don't send it in. They take it with them to vote. And when you go to vote, if you are told that you've already voted, you have your ballot in hand to show that you have not. So from an election integrity standpoint, people who want to, quote unquote, make sure that their vote is being counted and that somebody else didn't vote in their place, that is a really good way to do this. We're going to do a town hall of some sort on Sunday, September 22nd, with our election integrity task force so that people can find out what we've been doing, what we've got in place, where we need help, because we need a lot of volunteers going into the general election. We need bodies in polling places. We will train you. We will get you up to speed, but we are not ignoring election integrity. You can hear it everywhere. You can hear it nationally talking about protecting the vote. We are absolutely taking care of it here in Delaware. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Julie. This is Phil Mayer from West Ocean City, Maryland.
How can I help you today, Phil?
Well, my family has a major problem where we have 5 members, and one of the members has he's what do you call it? He is I'm having a mental block here for a minute here. He has a mental problem.
Okay.
Okay, and so we've been looking at the best place to put him in, or to take him to, and my 2 sisters want an individual, a 70-year-old woman, to take care of him in an apartment, which they want to spend money on, and the 2 brothers, want to put him into a
facility.
Like a place like Gall Creek down here in Ocean City.
Yep.
Okay, so the problem we have is my brother is the POA.
Okay.
Okay. And the sisters are doing everything against him. And so he is ready to drop out. He wants to go to an attorney to to say he wants to not be the POA anymore because the sisters are being so disruptive about the whole thing.
Okay.
And so in Maryland, what happens when he decides to drop out of being the POA? Does it go to court? Does it go to a judge? Does a sister then, is a sister able to then be the POA or whatever?
Okay.
I'm asking.
Couple of questions on the POA for the family member. Is there a second person, or is it just your brother?
Just my brother.
Okay. And I can answer what would happen in Delaware. It's going to be similar in Maryland, but I don't know. It's not exactly the same. But what would happen in Delaware under this scenario? If the agent, in this case your brother, resigns and says that he is no longer willing to act as the power of attorney, so your family member now does not have an agent who can speak and or advocate for him. Anybody in the family who wanted to step into that role in Delaware would go to the Court of Chancery and get a guardianship. So Maryland does not have the Court of Chancery, but they absolutely have. So it's an adult guardianship. It's court ordered, so but basically the court doesn't step in typically unsolicited. Somebody would have to go and apply. So the sisters that are being disruptive, if what they want is in order to be in charge, they could, either one of them or both could actually make an application. I'm not quite, I can't tell you exactly. I mean, if you were going to do a search engine, I would say adult guardianship agency, so that you can find out where that application would happen. But that is typically what happens. Is it's a guardianship, and then
Okay.
go ahead.
So my brother is talking about going to an attorney on Monday or Tuesday, and again, he's in Annapolis. We're down here in Ocean City.
Right.
And so he's going to go to an attorney to find out, what he has to do to resign.
Okay.
Okay, and then from there, you're saying that the sisters can then go to what did you call it?
It's a guardian. They would look to become adult guardians. It's a guardianship is the magic word. But I just thought of one other thing. Hang on before we go there. And that is that in the power of attorney where your brother is named, many states have a power, Delaware does, Maryland probably does, where your brother could delegate his authority to somebody else if that power, so he needs to take the power of attorney with him to the attorney. But if that power has been selected, he could delegate it. If he's okay with it, he could delegate it to the sisters and avoid the guardianship.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he could do that.
Yes. So he doesn't have to resign. He can delegate.
Resign, okay. All right, and he would need to go to his attorney to make this happen, correct?
I would suggest it, just because that attorney can then kind of give him brief him on where his like how that works, in terms of yes, I would definitely recommend talking to an attorney about it.
Okay, so we were afraid that it
hang on. So Phil, if you want to hang on, there's music. I can't push it. So if you want to hang on, please feel free. You are listening to 92.7 and 98.5, and that is the talk of Delmarva.
This W.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Hutton from Rehoboth Beach Running Company. We've been in this location for about 8 years, and we've been in business for about 16 years. We're pretty much busy every day, all year round now. Since we've been advertising with the Talk of Delmarva, everywhere we go, people seem to know about us. I like working with other small businesses. We work with a lot of small businesses, and advertising is no different. And we like for people to come in and actually see our store. Yeah. So when people from the Talk of Delmarva have seen our store, they understand it better. Some of their other customers shop at our store, and it's really a small town kind of life. And people shop local, advertise local, listen to the local radio. It all kind of comes full circle. So how has has the marketing department helped us? Well, I love that she's always looking ahead at the calendar, because as a small business person, I'm very busy and I'm kind of thinking of last minute things. And so Laura's always ready for the sidewalk sale. She knows it's a big deal for us. And so you want to get the word out a little bit early. And the sidewalk sale this year was better than ever. And I think it's in great part to Laura's planning and the commercials, so people know that the whole town is having a sidewalk sale and that we have big sales at that time of year. You know, I didn't really know what to expect in the beginning, because I didn't know whether she'd know our business. You know, I don't know if she would know runners and all about, but she listens very carefully and she researches and she really tries to gear our ads towards our business, and she does an excellent job. I think people really more now than ever want to shop local. I think people want to support local businesses and help the community. And so when people know that we are a small business that meets their needs, they'd rather shop here than go online or some other way. So I think people really want to help themselves and help the community. We have attracted our ideal customer at the Talk of Delmarva. We service people from, 12 years old or even younger to 95-year-olds. So yeah, I think our ads are doing a great job of bringing customers to us. The Talk of Delmarva advertising has helped with our marathon also. So I organized the Rehoboth Marathon and Half Marathon in December, and we sell out earlier and earlier every year. And I think that's due in part to advertising with the Talk of Delmarva. You know, the people know that we have a running store and that we also have this big race at a great time of year, and people sign up earlier and earlier every year. I really do believe that the return on investment is huge. I think we definitely got return on our investment quickly. Every dollar spent was well worth it. I would highly recommend for other businesses to advertise on the Talk of Delmarva. It's been a great experience for us. It's been very worthwhile, and I would highly recommend it to other businesses.
I'm Tom Holmes, 1776 Steakhouse in Rehoboth Beach. The restaurant's been here since 1987. I've had it since 2007. I get probably 2-3 customers a night that will come in and say, I heard you on the radio and it sounded great and we're so happy that you're advertising locally with local businesses. I used to do very limited advertising, just a little bit on newspapers and billboards and stuff like that, but now I'm pretty much exclusively just with the radio station. I advertise on Rehoboth Foodie Bob's show, and I also advertise different segments and different times during the course of the week. I've been pretty much with the same schedule for maybe about 10 years. I'm just happy I am advertising with them. They've been very loyal to us, and the feedback I get from my customers about the radio station is tremendous.
Or information, go to the community calendar under the Extras tab at thetalkofdelmarva.com.
This weather report is sponsored by Bell House Medical, home of the Master Grab Bar. Need grab bars? You call, they install, so you don't fall. 302-644-4404.
Phil, are you still on? Are you still there?
I sure am.
All right, thanks for holding on. Yeah, once that music starts, I have no control. So you were saying you guys were afraid of something. Tell me what that was.
Well, my brother is afraid of being sued down the road, okay, where my sisters want an individual to become 24/7 care for my brother in an apartment that they would rent. All right, my brother and I and some other family members want my brother to go into an assisted care living. He has dementia.
Okay.
He has Lewy body dementia, which can be a dementia that he gets very agitated, conflicted, possibly a problem.
Violent, but not in a mean way. Like it's just.
Well, it's hard to say what might happen. So my brother has finally come to the point where he wants to give it up and say, okay, I'm out of here, but he's going to go to a lawyer to do it. But you're saying that he can delegate the position to one of my sisters through an attorney, and that would absolve him for the future of anything that could happen. Because we're thinking, this 70-year-old woman who would be taking care of a 70-year-old man in an apartment, something could happen, and then the family or my brother David, being the POA, would then be sued, and he doesn't want any parts, and neither do I. I don't want him to have any parts of that.
Okay, so let me stop you for a second. Hang on. So what he is afraid of is because I wrote down when you said he's afraid of being sued. He's afraid of being sued by the caretaker that your sisters
That is correct.
want to hire. Okay.
For anything that might happen, she might fall, she might whatever.
Okay.
My brother might push her. I have no idea, how Lewy body
I get
happens
it.
and all that can happen. So yeah, he's finally given up, but he feels like he's abandoning his brother for the sister's point of view.
Okay, well, I got two things. One is in terms of whether or not he can delegate the document itself, that power had to have been selected. So he needs to go, the attorney will be able to tell him whether he has the authority to delegate his position and what the parameters of that delegation are. Meaning, does it completely, is he still the agent? Is it, how, can he do it permanently? Can he do it temporarily? An attorney's going to be able to help him with that. Okay. The second thought on this is and I realize we're getting into family dynamics here, in terms of why your sisters want this whole apartment and caregiver idea as opposed to a facility. Is it a financial aspect, or is it,
Actually, no. As a matter of fact, their position is spending another $3,000 a month versus the caregiver, not the caregiver, but
I know what you mean.
Facility.
Yeah. Well,
he's looking at a place in Salisbury that has care. They have that.
Well, he has the authority. I mean, I understand family dynamics and if your sisters are making it difficult, but as the power of attorney, if it is in his mind that the facility makes sense for your brother, he can do that.
Yeah.
And so, I get it. It's complicated.
We know that. For sure.
I get it.
We know that for sure.
Okay.
The family's just falling apart.
So the two paths here are delegation. Can he delegate his power? And can that delegation be construed as a resignation so that he completely is out of it? Or can he only delegate for, a period of time or for limited things? That's question one.
He wants completely out.
I know, but he needs to ask that very specific question. And then if the delegation does not completely absolve him, get him completely out, then he can resign. I know that. And if he resigns, then the sisters can come in and go for a guardianship. That's the path.
Okay, so it's not a judge that will decide who takes over.
Probably. Well, yes and no, because the guardianship does end up before a court. So the judge, if nobody else is applying for the guardianship, then there's not a decision, about who would be the guardian. If there were competing guardianship applications, then yes, that would be, a judge would make the call.
Yeah,
then.
we would just be concerned that a judge would appoint somebody that nobody knows as a guardian.
Generally not. What happens with that is the When the application is made for the guardianship, an attorney is typically going to be appointed for your brother on his behalf, to make sure that no one, but typically there is not, if there is a family member who is willing to be the guardian, they're not going to pick some random person.
And there will be, yes.
Yeah. Somebody just wrote in, hang on, before we go, it says, for the man with the power of attorney issue, contact the facility where you want the brother to go, and they can send a nurse to evaluate. Then there is a professional opinion on the best place for your brother.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Just a thought.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate your input. Guess I'm going to call my brother and let him know that there's a possibility of delegating the responsibility, and we'll go from there. I appreciate it very much.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Okay, so as kind of a follow-up to that, before and I don't think I have anybody else on the line, I've got a couple digital questions, but 302-945-9292 or 800-518-9292 are the phone numbers. On power of attorney, one of the things when you hear principal and agent, principal is the person who's executing the power of attorney, agent is the person who is named. There is within the document, and it used to be you could just kind of do a paragraph that said, I, Julianne, say that Patrick can be my agent. Now, most states have a much more comprehensive one where you have to actually convey very specific powers. You have to initial each and every one of the powers. The delegating authority power is one that I actually typically have my clients not initial. Because you want, as the principal, you want to be able to control who the agent is going to be. And if your agent can pick somebody, I take that option away. But one of the things to understand about power of attorney, and I had clients earlier this week, just because you're married does not mean that you can legally speak for each other. You have to have a power of attorney for your spouse. And I know that that's not what Phil's conversation was. It was a family member, but for spouses, so many people think just because they're married, and, I jokingly say, I know that you're used to being spoken for, and they kind of laugh, but the reality is that you have to legally be named as an agent, and you can be named as an agent, either what's called durable. As soon as it is signed, no doctor's note is needed. You can be an agent at any time with or without consent. Okay, so when you start talking about your kids being the backup agent, it does not have to be one size fits all where they can step in at any time. They can be named to only be your agent when you are incapacitated. But people sign powers of attorney all the time to basically give power, and they don't understand that their kid can then jump in at any time. And what I explain to people is it's that they will do it from an overly helpful place. So they are second in line behind your spouse. Your spouse has died. Kids already paying attention because you are now a widow. They come to the house. They see a late notice for something. Flip out. Call the bank. Call the vendor. And just take over your life. With durable power of attorney, they can do that. And if that's something that you don't like the idea of, then you got to make sure that you limit it to only be when you're incapacitated, where a doctor is then going to have to weigh in. So we will come back to more of your phone calls. I hit a couple digital questions in those last 15 minutes, but right now you are listening to 92.7 and 98.5, and that is the talk of Delmarva.
I'm Tom Holmes, 1776 Steakhouse in Rehoboth Beach. The restaurant's been here since 1987. I've had it since 2007. I get probably 2-3 customers a night that will come in and say, I heard you on the radio and it sounded great, and we're so happy that you're advertising locally with local businesses. I used to do very limited advertising, just a little bit on newspapers and billboards and stuff like that, but now I'm pretty much exclusively just with the radio station. I advertise on Rehoboth Foodie Bob's show, and I also advertise different segments and different times during the course of the week. I've been pretty much with the same schedule for maybe about 10 years. I'm just happy I am advertising with them. They've been very loyal to us, and the feedback I get from my customers about the radio station is tremendous.
I'm Keith Pettit, an assistant manager here at Southern States Milford Cooperative in Milford, Delaware. My experience with WGMD radio station, Talk with Delmarva, has been outstanding. We do our once monthly radio show here in our showroom, and we instantly see results of people coming in that day and the following day and the weeks after saying, I heard about this on WGMD, the Talk of Delmarva. And not just at a close local level within a few miles, but it brings customers in from a fair distance to come and check out the products that we've talked about through the radio station advertising. But in my estimation, WGMD is the best talk radio station on Delmarva. People are in tune to hanging on every word that that station says, and that transfers to the advertisers. The people that listen to WGMD listen to our advertisements word for word, and they know what they're looking for when they come in here as a result. I just think they're phenomenal. They do a great job.
My name is Karen. My husband and I own Captain's Pizza. We have been here for over 6 years, going on 7. We only advertise with WGMD, and we love it. They really help us with anything that we need. They always have good suggestions. They help me with the commercials. Advertising has helped our business tremendously. We do get a lot of people that come in and want to know who is talking on the radio, and I'm always here, so I'm always happy to say that it's me. We participate with Delmarva Dollars. A lot of customers bring them in. We have customers that ask when they're going to have them again if they don't hear it on the radio. We tried advertising in the newspaper and things like that, but we see more of a showing with the Delmarva Dollars. And the customers, they ask me, where else do we advertise? And I tell them, we only advertise with WGMD. We've been very successful with them. We get exactly what we ask for, and it's well worth the money that we invest in it.
Since 1980, WGMD Radio has been your local hometown station with everything from music to news to sports. We know a thing or two about community and longevity. The Talk of Delmarva is proud to be partnered with the White Marlin Open and congratulates them on 50 years.
Welcome back to Tipping the Scales of Justice. Julianne Murray. We're in our last 10 minutes or so. Let's go to those phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? You're on the line. Who do I? You are on the air. Who do I have?
Yes, this is Nellie.
Hey, Nellie.
Julianne.
How are you? Always happy to hear from you.
Fine. Yes. I have, if you can clarify this for me, when you vote absentee vote, you do go fill out your form, they give you a vote, you give it to the attendant, and the vote is there. When those votes are counted, are those voted compared to the amount of applications to the votes when the votes are counted?
I want to make sure I understand. So, do we basically
absentee vote?
Do they make
when you
sure
go to vote at the board of election?
Right. No, but your question is, I think, that do they compare to make sure that the number of absentee votes as it relates to the number of people that applied for the absentee vote? Is that your question?
Right. Because if you put your vote there, is it going to be counted according to the number of applications?
No, it's going to be counted. So because people can apply and not return it. So but what is going to happen is if you vote absentee, it will show in your voter record that you requested an absentee vote, and it will, or absentee ballot. It will also show whether you returned the absentee ballot. But
okay, no, my question is when you vote in person at the Board of Elections
with an absentee ballot.
Because Right.
Yep.
Because you fill out your form, and then you vote, and you give the vote to, put in the box. Are those votes, when they're counted, compared to the amount of applications that were filled in there? Because that you're sure that you went in there and you voted. So how do you make sure that those votes are going to be counted, and if they are the same number of votes as applications?
Again, they don't tie it out to, so they count ballots that they have in hand that have been completed. It is not tied out to people who applied for ballots. So if you mail it in or hand it in, it is a completed ballot that makes it to the Department of Elections, and they have designated times that they open those and scan them, and and we have watchers that are there for that. But it is, they only on election day, they deal with only the completed ballots.
Okay. Well, I've been on a counting before, so I know that they count the votes. But my question is really, I never was sure when you put your vote there, and it's just been put in a box.
Yep.
And that box is secure? It's not secure? How does it work? Because it's people working there.
I get it. No, I
okay. Like I said, I've been on counting of the absentee voting, that the count the votes, the ones that are actually there.
Yep.
But putting votes in there and having amount of people match to the amount of people that went in and filled them in and vote, that is a vote that was a person there and voted. So those should be separated from all the others that mail in.
I don't think they are, though. That's a good question, but I don't think they are. I think that whether you drop it off or whether it is mailed in, they have a set time that they process all of those, where they open the envelopes, because if you drop it off, you're still dropping it off with the envelope, sealed in the envelope.
Right.
I think that everything is counted together, whether it was mailed in or whether it was dropped off. I'm pretty sure about that, but I'll find out, because I understand what you're asking. I'm curious about it.
It's questioning for me. It's really a little bit of questioning, because I've been there, and the votes are just put in there, but then how many people did go in person, and it should be a different situation of counting the one that come by mail.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Okay.
All right. I appreciate it, Nellie. Thank you. Take care. See you. Bye-bye. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Connie.
Hi, how can I help you?
I need you, earlier in the show you gave a web address for a listing of all the candidates and voting places.
Yep.
And I also need the address of the Republican headquarters in Georgetown.
Okay. So the website is sussex.gop.
Hold on. I'm a little bit visually impaired, so please bear with me.
You are totally fine.
Gov.
Nope. Sussex, so SUSSEX .GOP. Yep.
All right.
So for most websites, it's .com. Here, it's .gop.
Okay. And where is the headquarters?
It is at 131 East Market Street in Georgetown.
Okay, honey. Thank you so much. You're just the greatest.
Oh, thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Take care. See you. Bye-bye. All right. Let's go. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Julianne. This is Laurie from Lewis. This is me.
Hello, Laurie. How are you? My registration queen. How can I help you, Laurie?
Okay. I just wanted to ask you, who's going to be there to see anybody open up the absentee ballots? And is there going to be somebody there when they tally all these early voting?
In terms of who's going to be there for the when they're opening the absentee ballots, I know that the 38th PAC and Club has been sending out emails and trying to. We had people there the 2 times previously where they've done it, so we have had people there, but they're always looking for additional people to view when they're opened.
Mm-hmm.
On the early voting, as far as I know, is machine tallied, basically. So that's going to happen on election night when all of the totals, come. They are not going to tabulate them until after the polls close. They do, at least historically in 22, they kept them separate so that you knew what the early voting was as opposed to absentee and then machine voting on election day. But I don't recall that the early voting is quote unquote witnessed. The tapes will be run at the end of the period like they are on election day, but I don't know if they've been doing that daily or not.
Okay, because one year I was the one who watched them take them out of the machines and things like that. 1 year, and things like that, and had them. Just to have somebody there from the GOP or something like that. I was
Absolutely.
there. There was 2 of us.
Yeah.
And we watched how they did it and things like that, and we were right there.
Which
I don't know if they've done
what
that anymore though since then.
No, we're trying to. So part of what we're doing, and we're going to do a statewide Zoom September 22nd, and I'll be getting more information out about it, about election integrity. And part of that election integrity pitch is bodies. We need people in these polling places. Just the having somebody there is a deterrent, and gives people a warm fuzzy that things are being done properly. So but we need. There's 400 and some polling places. We need bodies, and so we're going to absolutely be asking people, but we'll be doing it with these are the different jobs that we need help with. So if people want to sign up for a shift for a certain location, we're going to, but absolutely, if the idea of having somebody there when the tapes are run, and because what they do, and they post them at the polling location for people who don't know, those machine tapes that give the tally for the location broken out by RD and ED are then posted at the location. And so a lot of the candidates, I know we did this, had people who went and took pictures of what those totals were, because you can sort of start getting a feel for what the vote counts are. But we are always looking for people. I'm so glad to hear that you had done that previously.
In the state of Delaware, and even down here in Sussex County, we're always outnumbered 4-1 as far as who's going to watch the polls.
No, I know, but again, this is it's a work in progress, and we are we're making incremental changes. And I know in 22, the election, there were some people who did a tremendous. It was a small but mighty group who did a lot in terms of trying to put some policies in place from an election integrity standpoint. That is much more robust now than it was. It's been a priority of mine. It's a priority of the RNC. And so, we want people to understand what they legally can do, and to be willing to be there and be a watchdog. It's not hard to do. We just need eyeballs. Right. Thanks so much for the call, Lori, and thanks for everything you do for the party. Thanks, everybody, for calling in. This is Julianne Murray. This has been Tipping the Scales of Justice. I will be here next week. This is 92.7 and 98.5, and that is The Talk of Delmarva.
92.7 WGMD Rehoboth Beach and 98.5 WUSX Seaford, the talk of Del Mar.